This is the review quiz number 2. We're looking at an attempt, and we want to just do a couple corrections here. So I'm looking at question number 2, and in this case, it's asking us to find the value of x that leads to the given value for f of x. We want f of x to equal 1. So I'm going to plug 1 in for f of x. That's going to look like 1 for f of x equals negative 5x plus 2. And then we need to solve this by getting x by itself, which is going to involve first subtracting 2 from both sides, which is going to give us 1 minus 2 is negative 1 equals 5x. 2 subtracts off. And then we are going to need to divide both sides by 5. Let's see if I can type this. I'm going to divide both sides by 5, which gives me negative 1/5 is equal to x. Okay, so that would be my response on this one. Negative 1/5 equals x. And you can see it. Oh, my bad. I forgot the negative. I would have gotten this one wrong. Copy that negative down here. It was a negative 5 originally, which means that now dividing by a negative, 2 negatives making a positive 1/5. I apologize for missing that negative. So the answer would be a positive 1/5 for x. That is the correct response. Okay. So the response entered was negative 3, so I'm not entirely sure what happened. Actually, I do think I know what happened there. I believe that you had interpreted this as if it was f of 1. F of 1, when they asked you to plug 1 inside for x, would have been negative 5 times 1 plus 2, in which case that would have given you negative 3. So separate response, if they're asking you to do f of 1, where 1 is the input value in place of x, it goes in for x. But here they're asking you to set the equation equal to 1, and then you need to solve for your x value. So that's why the reason here should have been the 1/5. So I'm going to look at a couple more questions just to give you an idea of what you might want to do on the next attempt. So question number 4. I took a look at this one before, and I saw that your response had negative 1 and 1/5, which is the improper number for negative 6/5. It's missing the x. It needs to have the x after it. Mx plus b is our form. But I also always want to write slope as an improper fraction and never as a mixed number. So you have the right information, just wanted to piece it together. You counted your slope. You saw that you had a y-intercept of 7, and then you counted your slope at one point down 6 over 5. So negative 6/5, leave it improper, is your slope. And you need to remember to write mx plus b, slope times the letter x, then plus your b value, your y-intercept value. You had the right pieces there, just need to get them organized in the right fashion. I haven't looked at some of the rest, but let's see if we can click through. 5, I wanted to write an equation that is perpendicular, and looks like you weren't sure how to answer this one. So on 5, if I want my equation to be perpendicular, the first thing I want to do is to identify the slope of the equation that's given, and since it's mx plus b, the slope of that line is 5. So parallel line would have had the same slope, but perpendicular is going to have a slope that is negative and reciprocal. So if it was positive 5, the slope is going to change to negative, and reciprocal of 5 is 1 over 5. So the slope of your new line should be negative 1/5. Now, taking your new ordered pair, y is equal to mx plus b, and you know the slope. The slope is negative 1/5. So you can plug that in there. And then you know that you're going to plug in the x value of negative 2, and you're going to plug in the y value of negative 2, since that was the ordered pair, negative 2 for x, negative 2 for y. And you're going to solve for your b value. So you have negative 2 is equal to 2 negatives are going to make this positive. 2 times 1/5 is 2/5 plus b. And then to solve for b, you're going to need to subtract 2/5 from both sides. So on the left-hand side, I've got negative 2 minus 2/5. To get a common denominator, negative 2 is negative 2 over 1. And, of course, if I want to get the common denominator, I'm going to need to multiply top and bottom by 5. So it's going to be negative 10 over 5 minus the 2 over 5. That's what I'm going to have on the left-hand side equals my b. And then combining them, negative 10 over 5 minus 2 over 5 is going to be negative 12 over 5 for my final answer on b, which means that my equation, y equals mx plus b, mx plus b is going to be, I already knew m, I found that originally, it was negative 1/5. And then I want to find b, just found it. It's actually negative, so we're going to write it as negative 12/5. So that should be our answer for writing this equation, negative 1/5 x minus 12/5. And that does match. Okay, so I'm going to click through one more, and then you can go ahead and go through it yourself and let me know which questions in particular you would like me to talk about. I'm just going to click down to this next section, just randomly I'm going to pick 11 and see what we can do with 11. So 11 is find the equation that passes through these 2 points. Okay, it looks like, ooh, super, super close. You just had your slope being negative, and then with a negative slope, you had a different value for your b. Let's just check it and see if we can get that right answer. But I think that you were probably on the right track for this one. Just missed the negative in the beginning. So I know that to calculate slope, I do y2, which is negative 23, minus y1, which is negative 18, divided by, and then I need x2, which is negative 12, minus x1, which is negative 8. Okay, so my slope is, okay, so first of all, I need to simplify my negatives. I've got negative 23 plus 18 divided by negative 12 plus 8, because the double negative's there. So my slope is, okay, 23 plus 18, that's going to be negative 5, over, and negative 12 plus 8 is negative 4, so double negative on there is the reason that my slope is going to turn out to be a positive 5/4. Okay, so now that I know that my slope is positive 5/4, we remember that y is equal to mx plus b, and I can replace m with my positive 5/4. Then I take either of my ordered pairs, it doesn't matter, plug in for x and for y, so I'm just going to use the first one, negative 8 for the x value, and negative 18 for the y value. Okay. This gives me negative 18 equals, okay, I need to multiply 5/4 times negative 8. A positive times a negative is going to be negative. I know 4 goes into 8 twice, so that will reduce to 2 times 5 is 10. You can use your calculator to help you out there as well. But I should get negative 10, and then because of that, I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So it gives me negative 8 equals b. Okay. Back into the equation, y equals mx plus b. I already found m. M was 5/4, and I just found b as negative 8, so I'm going to write negative 8. So that would be the equation of this line. And that matches what we had up here. Okay. So I'm pretty confident that you started this one out correctly. You made a small mistake, got your slope to be negative, calculated the b value for the negative slope, but it didn't match up with what it should be for the positive. So please go ahead and look through the rest of them. Let me know which other ones you would like to talk about.